talk about the cross-country boots that I use. They're very new on the market. As you can see, it's produced by Kentucky. Kentucky is a company which is top end in the German market, very well known for their wonderful riding clothes, and I've been working with Kentucky for many, many years. And when they asked me would I be interested in developing some cross-country boots with them, I was obviously very happy to do that. They introduced me to Thomas Teutons, and it's his company that's now producing the boots. The material is very, very innovative. It's a very new design, perfect fit. I mean, obviously, our horse's legs are the most important part to us, especially on the cross country. So it is really important that we can have the best material possible to protect our horse's legs. Now, the new material in these boots is one material called D30. It's very flexible and it's extremely shock absorbent. Most of the cross-country boots only have one hard shell, but it finishes here. Now, I guess many of you have seen horses getting quite bad injuries at this bottom part. Now, we will show later in a little test how shock absorbent D30 is, but it literally protects this part of the horse's leg as well as this. So in this part where the main tendons are, we have got both. We've got the D30 and a hard shell, and here where it obviously needs to be more flexible so that the horse can move and gallop and jump, we have the D30 as well. So I'm just going to show you in a few minutes how I put my cross-country boots on. But before I come to that, I'd also like to point out there are a few other very interesting parts about these boots that make them very special. One being the outside material is extreme weather resistant, but on the other hand, it's 100% waterproof, but it's also breathable. That means our horse's legs don't get hot underneath them. They actually can stay cool. If you, for example, look at material like Gore-Tex, which is a great, fantastic material, but the temperature change does not work once it's raining. So the leg or the body underneath the Gore-Tex material stays hot. There's no exchange and not getting cooler. Now with us, obviously, galloping through water, jumping into water, also riding in bad weather conditions, means that we still want those legs to not become hot, because one reason a horse becomes a leg injury is when it gets too hot under the boots. And this material is not going to allow that. So very, very innovative. I think the best boot on the market. One other material that I use, and I'm sure many of you have actually seen riders using some sort of stockings underneath the boots. Now there are several reasons for using it. One is obviously it is a great protection to the skin. It prevents sand, little stones or little branches going in between the boot and the horse's legs, which could cause, little minor injuries, which can easily blow up for the next day, and then you have a problem for the trot up. So I use these stockings underneath. The other nice side effect is that once I finish my cross-country course, all I have to do is take the boots off and I can put an ice pack straight on the stocking, which you would obviously never want to put on the skin because it would burn the skin. So I leave the stockings on. It keeps the leg nice and tight. I put the ice on top and I band it around, and really quickly after finishing the cross-country course, I have a chance to cool the horse's legs down. Now I show you how I measure the right length. So I take the top of the stocking. It needs to go at least above the knee and finish under the joint here. So this is how I would determine the length for the front stocking. And obviously the same then also goes for the hind one. I would like to be above the hock and finish under the fetlock. Now if I have a horse like this one, Cerdolin, he is quite sensitive in the skin just below the fetlock, where I would put my overreach boots. So what I like to do is I like to have the stockings fairly long, so I can pull them even a little bit lower, so my overreach boots then sit on the stocking rather than on the skin that could irritate it. Okay, we've got the stocking like this. I'll wrap it all up. Pick up the leg. Pull the stocking apart so it fits over the foot. I pull it up. Then I pull it up again, because obviously I want the skin and the hair underneath to be straight. Then take the stocking down. With him, as I explained to you before, because he's very sensitive in this area of his leg, so I leave the stocking a little bit longer. Then we've got the boot. As you can hear, a very strong Velcro. Important is to make sure when you fit the boot that you really make use of this part of the boot where you protect the fetlock joint. So don't put them up too high. So first I would just shut the top one softly. The second one I pull fairly strong, and so I do with the third one. Then I go back to the top Velcro, open it up again, because for me it is very important that there's a little bit of room here, so that the tendon has got a little bit of space and they're not sitting too tight, because otherwise I could very easily get pressure points. So I open it up, I pull the boot a little bit off the leg, and then I just shut it softly. So then the stocking gets turned over the boot, and then obviously, very important, it will never stay like this unless I put some tape around. So I've got thin tape, but it doesn't matter whether you've got thin tape or bigger tape. I go a few times around, and then just a little tip from my side. You pull it off, and the end of the tape, I just fold up once. I finish the tape always on the outside. So as you can see, it's very easy to find the beginning. I don't have to search after cross country when the horses are still a bit excited. I don't have to search where is the beginning of my tape. I know exactly it is here, and it's very easy and quick to get off. Now finally, we have also overreach boots out of the same material. So as I've explained before, Caramel is quite sensitive here, so the stocking is quite low. I can put the overreach boot over. We've got triple Velcro here to really make sure I'm not losing them. So I set it nice and soft around the fetlock. Shut the 3 Velcros. Here, same idea than what we had with the tape. A little attachment here so they're easily to get off. And now he's ready to go cross country. Now quickly, the hind boots. The stocking is already on. We've made the hind boots a lot longer than you would see in other cross-country hind boots. For the simple reason I used to ride in leather boots behind, because I liked the fact that they were higher cut, especially in this part, because it protects speedy cuts that horses very quickly can get above the hock on the inside. So we made the material, made the boot a little bit higher. We still have got the hard shell here, which now obviously sits on the front, and the rest has got the D3O in it as well for the shock absorbent. So quickly I show you how to put them on. Again, as I said before, I leave them fairly high because I also want nothing to interfere here with the galloping and jumping of the horse. So the first one gets closed softly. The second one I tighten up. And so I do with the third and the fourth. You because nothing is worse than having a hind boot slipping. You can get easily quite bad cuts on the inside and rubs. I then check the top one again, make sure it's not too tight on the tendon up here, and just shut it loosely, and the stocking gets pulled over, and all I need now is just a little tape, which I obviously do exactly the same as I did the front. This is the material that we've been talking about all along, D30. Looks a bit like a mandarin at the moment, but as you can see, it is extremely flexible. That's why it fits so nicely to the horse's leg in the boots. I can form it in all directions, very innovative, and I just want to show you a little test now how strong the material is. You know, I've explained it's extremely shock absorbent. So we've got a male hand here, and I'm going to place it on the hand, and then you can see what happens when we hit it with a hammer. You can see it made a little imprint where the fingers were, but where the hammer hit it, nothing happened. And the hand, as you can see, doesn't have any bruises either. So extremely shock absorbent. This is what we want to protect our horse's legs.